Hello, a very good morning to all students of class 3rd. I am Amit Mahi from New Catholic Mission School, Jhabwa. So today we are going to see in brief semester 2 book, chapter 4 about the Marco Polo. Okay, this Marco Polo is a person who started his journey from age of 17. He went to the journey for China and wanted to know about the people and their habits, how they used to live their lives and what their occupation and what they do. Okay, let's know more about this Marco Polo and his journey. Lesson 4, Marco Polo, Adventure and Travel. Reading. Marco Polo was a merchant and an adventurer. He travelled with his father and uncle Venice, Italy to China. Marco Polo spent 17 years in China before returning to Venice. Let us read and learn more about this adventurous explorer. Okay, let's see the meaning. Merchant. Merchant means a person who used to do selling, okay, or want to know about some things. And adventurous explorer. Adventure means something that fascinated, okay, very interesting. An explorer, something want to know, okay, want to explore something about the things or any places and more. Long ago, when there was no planes and trains, no cars and buses, people had to travel to other countries by ships or caravans. Okay, many years ago, when there were in like 16th to 17th century, in that time there were no any planes, no trains, no buses. People had to travel with these boats and caravans. Okay, caravans means ships, like ship, small boats used to go through the waters. Marco Polo was one such a traveler who went to many countries because he wanted to learn about the people and their food, habits and their culture. Okay, Marco Polo is also one the traveler. Okay, he went with his father and uncle from Venice, Italy to China. Okay, the Venice is a small place. Okay, the Venice is now in Italy, and this Italy is settled on hundred of islands. Okay, and the people cannot use their buses and bikes and cars. People used to go through the beach bridges, or they now maybe they are using the aeroplanes and flyings. So now we see here the Marco Polo is also traveler. Means his uncle and his father already they are traveler, but this Marco Polo also wanted to know what their father and uncle used to do, and now he also very attracted with their works, and he also wanted to know other cultures and people and their habits. So now he also started his journey. Marco Polo was born in Venice, Italy in 1254. When he was 17, he set out on his first voyage with his father, Niccolo, and his uncle Maffeo. He wanted to visit China to find out about the country and its people. It took his 3 years to reach China. Okay, now when this Marco Polo was born in Venice, in Italy, in 1554, and when he was 17, okay, when he was 17 years old, that time he started his journey with his father Niccolo and uncle Maffeo. He wanted to visit China and wanted to know about the China's culture and their people and what kind of people used to live life in those times, not now. It took his 3 years to reach China. Okay. Now, how many years took Marco Polo to reach China? 3 years. Means that time no buses, no cars, no bikes, and they had to travel with the ships or voyage. Voyage means a journey through the water. Okay. Not journey. Journey is there is difference between voyage and journey. Journey means we used to travel by aeroplanes, buses or bikes, and voyage is the journey or people used to travel with boats, okay, or ships, means water journey you can say. So like this he started his journey from Italy and to China, and he reached there after 3 years with his uncle and father. Along the way he visited many great cities and saw many cities including the holy city of Jerusalem. Okay, on his visited, okay, while he was journey he also saw other many countries, also show the holy city of Jerusalem. Why it's called holy city of Jerusalem? The Jerusalem is holy city. Why? When Jesus Christ took born in Jerusalem. Okay. So Jerusalem is a small city. So where he started his journey, and he also knew about their cultures and people about the Jerusalem and on his journey. He also saw the mountains of the Hindu Kush, Persia and the Gobi desert. Okay, now Marco Polo also know about these mountains of the Hindu Kush and Persia and the Gobi desert. Okay, the Gobi desert is a very big desert located in Central Asia, Eastern Asia. He met a lot of different people and had many adventures. Okay, while his journey time Marco Polo and his uncle and father, they also met with many peoples and they knew about their livings and habits. You can see this is the picture of Marco Polo. The wealth and luxury of the Chinese cities impresses Marco Polo. Okay, wealth and luxuries means the China, when now they already entered in China, when they reach in China, they found, okay, the China cities what? They are very rich and luxurious life, means they are very big buildings and people are living good life there. So Marco Polo impressed by that things, okay. He was fascinated by the gardens and the greatness of Kublai Khan's court. Okay. Now when Marco Polo went into the China and saw, okay, he saw the Kublai Khan, the king of China. He found, and this Marco Polo was very impressed by this king Kublai Khan's court. Okay, fascinated meaning is fascinated means very interact or very attractive. And gladness and greatness of the Kublai Khan. Gladness means when they go there and they are very honored by the kings and their peoples. It was nothing like he had experienced in Europe. Okay, whatever he experienced in China, Marco Polo experienced in whatever experience in China, it was not like that. Okay, it was more impressive than the China's journey. The capital city of Kinshasa was large but well organized and clean. Okay, the capital city of China is name of Kinshasa. Kinshasa is the capital city of China, and this city is what? Very large, means very big and very surrounded and well organized and clean, means very good and very clean, not very garbage over there. The roads were wide. Okay, roads are what? Wide means big. Okay, roads are very wide and long. All this was well beyond anything he had experienced in Venice. Okay, whatever he experienced in Venice city, okay, when he was in, means this Marco Polo belongs from Venice, and the Venice city is, means whatever he experienced in China, these all things were beyond of imagination of Marco Polo than China. Everything from food to the people and animals like orangutans and rhinos were new and interesting. Okay. Orangutans and rhinos are very interested when he saw in this city. Marco Polo lived in China many years and learned to speak the local language. he traveled throughout China. Okay, when Marco Polo was in China, he learned many things there. Okay, he learned their languages, he loved their culture and loved them, and he learned also them. He traveled throughout China. Okay, when he was in China, he traveled full China. Okay, throughout means whole area of China he traveled over there. He served as a messenger and spy for the empire. Okay, now when Marco Polo was in China, he was as a servant for the king, and he used to work messenger and spy. Messenger means used to give some information and important message to the king, and spy means a person who used to notice secretly or want to do things secretly, not openly. He visited a lot of countries in Western Asia, North Africa and South Europe. Okay, now in their time he also visited many countries, Western Asia, North Africa and South Europe. During these visits, he learned about the different cultures, foods and people. He saw many places and things that nobody from Europe had ever seen before. Okay, when this Marco Polo visited throughout the China, and that time he visited Western Asia, North Africa and Southern Europe. That time he visits many small cities and towns, and he learned about their people's food. He also learned their cultures and their habits, and he saw many places and things that nobody from Europe had ever seen before. Okay, Marco Polo also had seen many things and many places. Nobody saw those things from the Europe before that Marco Polo. Okay. After traveling for 24 years, Marco Polo, alone with his father and uncle, decided to return to Venice. Okay, after traveling of 24 years, now Marco Polo and his father and uncle decided to return their hometown, where their hometown is in Venice, and they wanted to return there. They had left home in 1271 and finally returned in 1295. Okay, now they set on their journey to back home in 1271 and finally they returned in 1295. A few years after returning home, Venice fought a war with the city of Genoa. Okay, after returning Marco Polo there, and that time what happened? A war was fought between city of Venice and city of Genoa. Marco Polo was captured and put in Genoa's prisons. Okay, in this war Marco Polo was captured. Okay, Marco Polo was in war and he captured, or the soldier caught him and put him in the jail or prison. Prison means jail, where people used to keep if they commit any kind of crimes and things. So like that, when the war happened between Venice and Genoa city, that time Marco Polo was captured and put into the prisons of Genoa. He was released from prisons in 1299. He became a wealthy merchant. Okay, when Marco Polo was released in 1299 from the prison, and after that what happened? People knew that this Marco Polo became wealthy. Okay, wealthy means very rich person, and merchant. And merchant means person who used to sell the things or make some deals. It's called merchant. He married a lady named Donata Bador and had 3 children. He died on 8 January 1324 at the age of 70. He was buried in the church of San Lorenzo in Venice. Okay, when Marco Polo was came through released from the jail, after that he got married to the Donata Bador and he got 3 children, and he died in 8 January in 1324. And what was his age? His age was 70 years old. and was buried in the church of San Lorenzo, Venice, in Venice. Okay, there is a church in Venice, San Lorenzo, where the Marco Polo was buried. It was in prison that Marco Polo met a well-known writer of stories. Okay, when Marco Polo was in prison, okay, when he was jailed, that time he found that he met with a writer who used to write stories, and that time what happened, this Marco Polo narrated whole story to this writer. Marco narrated detailed stories of his journeys to the writer, who wrote all the stories in a book called The Travels of Marco Polo. Okay, the person whom the Marco Polo met in the jail, he narrated whole details. Okay, wherever he went and whatever he did, and which kind of people he met and what kind of habits he learned from China. He narrated whole things to this writer. And this writer wrote the book for Marco Polo is called The Travels of Marco Polo. It became a very popular book. It was translated into many languages and read throughout Europe. It is said that Christopher Columbus, another explorer, was greatly inspired by the book. It is believed that he carried it along with him on his travels. Okay, when this writer wrote the book, The Travelers of Marco Polo, this book was the book became very popular in those times. And what happened, this book popular, and also people came to know that whatever Marco Polo did while his journey time, he narrated whole things and details about the country and where he went. And this book became now very popular, and this book was translated into many languages and people read it throughout the Europe. It is said that the Christopher Columbus, okay, the Christopher Columbus is another explorer who was really very inspired by the book of The Travelers of Marco Polo. He read it through and read this book all, and also he carried the book, okay, the Marco Polo travels book he carried while his journey time, and it is believed that he carried along with him on his travels. So this Christopher Columbus also another explorer. Okay, now we learn about let's summarize small things about this chapter, the Marco Polo. Okay, this Marco Polo was set on his journey after 17 years with his father and uncle, and they they reached in China after 3 years. Okay, the journey was through the ship. Okay, and he knew about whole people and their culture and their living, and whatever he noticed he wrote in his book, and might be he was having some special notes while he's traveling. And after when they came back after 23 years from the China, and they met with the war. War was between Venice and Genoa city. That time what happened, this Marco Polo was captured and put into the jail, and while he was in jail he explained whole story about his journey and whatever he did in China. He explained to the story writers, and the story writers really inspired with his travelings, and he wrote a book named the Marco Polo, the Travels of Marco Polo. And this book later became very popular and translated into many languages and read throughout the Europe. And the Christopher Columbus is another explorer. He was set on his journey, and he carried also these books with him to more knowledge. Okay, thank you.